Hello, so wonderful to see you. My name is Bronwyn Sanders. I'm a director of admissions at NYU Stern for global degree programs. And today I feel very fortunate to be here with Professor Kathleen DeRose. Professor DeRose is the director of NYU Stern's Fubon Center for Technology, Business, and Innovation, and also the director of the Fintech Initiative at Stern. She is a professor, a clinical professor of finance at Stern, and we are now fortunate to have her as our academic director for the newly launched Masters in Fintech program at Stern. So, Professor, I'd love to spend a few minutes with you today and ask you really just some questions, particularly for those people listening in today that are interested in this exciting program we just launched, and for the first cohort to be starting in June of 2023. So, Professor DeRose, I was hoping you could first just tell us a little bit about your background before joining Stern and how you became interested in fintech.
Oh my gosh, well, thank you, Bronwyn, for the chance to talk about obviously one of my favorite topics, and hopefully I can share that enthusiasm with all of our prospective students here in this webinar. So my background originally was in asset and wealth management, and I started, like a lot of people do, as a very junior analyst and got the chance to manage portfolios at a pretty early age and just absolutely loved finance with a passion. And as I traveled through that career trajectory, it was quite obvious to see that technology transformation was already afoot, even back when the Dow was 1,000, which is what it was when I started in the business, which tells you I was either lucky or smart. And I think you know the answer already. Bit of luck there. But technology transformation was already afoot. And it started with tools, and then it became processes. And then it was very clear that entire chunks of the business were going to be automated. So that's a very exciting jumping off point, that when I arrived here at Stern just 4 or 5 years ago, in the very early days of our fintech programs, it was clear that education needed to catch up and then even lead this whole technology transformation. So that's the quick background and what led me to Stern, where I now have the pleasure of building and teaching in our fintech programs, which have started from just a single class in blockchain and cryptocurrency, and now our full-blown programs across all of our different audiences, from undergrad to executive students.
No, it's truly amazing. Just in my time at Stern, it's just the journey of how quickly fintech has taken off, and it's really truly exciting to see. So in that vein, I would love, Professor, if you could tell us why NYU Stern decided to launch this specific program, a Masters in Fintech program for working professionals.
Okay, so certainly as a graduate actually of one of Stern's executive master's programs, I know how busy executives think. And when you're in an industry that's faced with significant transformation, whether you're working in technology or in finance, it's a fantastic way to get an update and a refresher and catch up in an industry that's changing really quickly. So we've targeted this audience, which we think is actually in particular need due to the fast transformation and the fact that it's happening mid-career. So when something's happening mid-career, you don't have time to reflect, you're busy, you're trying to keep pace with client demands or business demands, whatever they may be. And education is an awesome way to jumpstart either a career change, a career shift, or just simply a catch up into what's going on. And that's a unique opportunity that we think we can offer at Stern.
That's fantastic. Yes, it really is such an exciting addition to our portfolio of programs for experienced professionals. And so tell us, could you tell us a little bit more about the curriculum, in terms of the core topics? We're excited to hear more about it.
Okay, so fintech is obviously just fast-paced and fast-changing, but that's what makes it so fun to teach and also to be a student. So we cover technology transformation in the 5 major financial functions. So those 5 functions are things like payments and money transfer and insurance and capital allocation and markets. So every significant financial function and what's happening in technology, the latest trends, the transformation, does the finance theory still hold up? What are the latest, hottest topics in terms of companies and case studies? We also take up foundational technologies that are transforming fintech. And that's everything from blockchain, the shared base layer of common infrastructure, on which financial activities are happening now, to all the underpinnings of automation and artificial intelligence like data science and machine learning, and also platforms, which are really more of a business model, but are absolutely critically influential, not only in the finance industry, but in others, and really transform ways of doing business because of network effects. And lastly, maybe another large theme is just that fintech is global. And so as we see these emerging, almost competing fintech worlds around the globe, it's really important to understand how things work, whether you're in London or Singapore or Mumbai or Shanghai. Fintech is unfolding in slightly different ways, and that's very exciting.
That it really leads me to my next question. I mean, what's really exciting about our program is that it is a cohort-based program and it's global. So you are learning about different people, functions, different careers from people really experiencing fintech from different lenses from all over the world, which really makes it such a interesting, diverse cohort, which is really where people are building relationships for life. And in that vein, there are 2 global modules outside of New York that we will be visiting in this program, Singapore and London. If you could maybe talk a little bit, how are those locations chosen? And is that related to trends you're seeing in the industry?
Yeah, no, so thanks for mentioning the different lenses we take, because like you said, we do look at it from both incumbent adaptation, fintech upstart, and technology perspectives. And so all those 3 things are important. And we also look around the world. And so we've chosen really carefully some leading fintech centers where technology-based financial services innovation is happening. And to be there at the birth of those new companies, to talk to local regulators, to meet local business leaders is a fantastic opportunity to get that perspective. So developed countries don't have any monopoly on technology innovation, and we certainly learn that in the fintech world.
Professor, who would you recommend the program to? Do you have an idea of what you'd like to see in the cohort?
Yeah, so this is an amazing opportunity for someone who's maybe 10 to 15 years into their career, is passionate either about finance or technology, wants to learn more about either finance or technology, and would like to have a wonderful year with a diverse group of people traveling the world, traveling through finance and technology, and learning about how transformation is happening in their industry, and therefore jumpstarting themselves for potential leadership roles in the emerging fintech world. The fantastic thing is that we're still relatively early days in fintech, 10 years in, meaning those who are actually taking their curiosity to the next level and learning leadership skills in fintech will be that next generation of leaders, and we'd love to help shape them.
That's great. And Professor, I'm so interested in your involvement in NYU's Fubon Center for Technology, Business, and Innovation. I know myself, I've attended so many different conferences. I've learned so much myself. And maybe you could share a little bit about your involvement, the mission of the organization at Stern, just to, I think our listeners would really be interested in hearing more.
Yes, so it's super fun to chair a research center like the Fubon Center, which exists because of a really generous donation from an alum who wanted to catalyze interdisciplinary research, which of course is fintech, right? Along with innovation and our other kind of core areas of focus. So our mission is really to fulfill 3 different objectives. So firstly is to promote our own academic research. Secondly is to help with curriculum design and help inform that curriculum design by connecting to industry. And then the third thing is to run amazing events. So as you can see on my screen here, this is a little promotion from our FinTech conference in 2022. We also have a very large innovation conference and a series of fireside chats we do throughout the academic year. And our kind of USP or special selling proposition here is to bring together academics and commercial practitioners in one room for great conversations about the latest in technology in these different areas.
That's great. That's great. It's such an amazing resource. And my last question to you is, for someone considering this program starting June of 2023, what is one piece of advice that someone that's looking to consider the program? What advice would you give to them?
Well, I think one of the things that differentiates us, obviously, is we have this long, successful track record in innovating in fintech curriculum and fintech education. So that should be a main consideration for you, of course. But I really want to emphasize the Stern fintech community that's emerging. So when we started, we just had a few aficionados, but we've now grown to a fantastic group of students, faculty, and alums. And I'm starting to see just recently the payback start to happen. As we populated this world out there, and I do tell my students they become part of our fintech posse, people are starting to come back. And that means a great network for you as a potential student to tap into. And I think that's just an absolutely huge aspect of a program like this.
Without a doubt. Professor, thank you so much for taking this time to speak with me today. We are so excited to launch this program, and we welcome anyone interested to talk to our admissions team. We are enthusiastically talking to people constantly and very excited for next steps. Professor, thank you.
Oh my gosh, well, thank you. And to you, all of you out there, I can't wait to meet you and to see you on campus. Welcome to FinTech.
Great.